Let's review. That it's concepts, rules, and procedures, equations, formulas that help us organize and summarize data, and the methods to understand the data so that we can make informed decisions, which in statistics are called inferences. Statistics gives us methods and ways to look at data and see if there's any trends or patterns, and that they're not simply random occurrences. And that's what separates chance from statistics. The two most important questions that you should take and always have with you when you're reading a survey or a study is, how do we know, which has to do with the methods and procedures that are used, and how do we use what we know? This question concerns ethics, morals, preferences, the agendas and the motives and purposes behind a survey or study. It's scientific, it's a rational way of thinking and deducing to conclusions. The important thing to remember about the research process as it applies to statistics is there's a lot of different reasons for doing research, but we want to do our data collection, our analysis, and then most importantly, what is often forgotten or ignored are the findings, conclusions, recommendations, and impacts of the survey or study. We've learned that there's two principal types of statistics: descriptive, where we use numbers to organize and describe a sample, and inferential, where we use the numbers from a sample to make inferences or conclusions about the population. We can't go out and survey the whole population. For example, the whole student body of Mesa Community College. So we pick a sample, what we consider to be a random yet representative sample of the population. And from that sample, we will then make our predictions, which are called hypotheses, and decide whether they are valid or not. Please don't be overwhelmed by the designations or labels for various types of variables provided by the researcher. And the dependent variable is the variable that is observed to assess the effect of the treatment or the manipulation. I created this chart showing the different levels of measurement to show what they can do and give you examples. Collecting data means that we make measurements of our observations. Measurement involves assigning individuals or events to categories. The set of categories makes up the scale of measurement that we're using. It allows us to ID the limitations of certain types of measurements. Next, when we talk about a parameter, that is a statistic or a number that describes the population. When we refer to numbers that describe or have to do with a sample, those are called statistics. Another way to characterize variables or levels of measurement is a little simpler, and you might prefer it: quantitative versus qualitative. Qualitative tends to be more small samples, more in-depth studies, not stuff that you can generally measure very easily. Quantitative is what we're going to be about in statistics. You can measure it, you can take samples, and you can make generalizations to a whole population much easier. This PowerPoint will be posted in Canvas in files for Introduction to Statistics. And if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact me or ask in class.